The phone vibrated against the nightstand like a trapped insect. Its screen glowing a harsh 2:17 a.m. I reached for it automatically, expecting a hospital page, but the preview froze every muscle in my chest. Can't wait to feel you again, baby. Same room. The sender was just M. My wife's phone. My wife, asleep 3 feet away, breathing slow and even, one arm flung above the pillow, utterly untouchable. I sat up so quickly the headboard smacked the wall. The room smelled of her lavender lotion, and a faint metallic tang of my own panic hung in the air. I stared at the message until the letters swam. Then I swiped away the thread with a thumb that felt alien, as if borrowed from someone else. The conversation unfolded like a noose. 3 months of midnight promises. Hotel keys hidden under planners. Inside jokes about my predictable snoring. Every word a splinter driven deeper. She stirred. "Babe." Her voice syrupy with sleep. "You okay?" I couldn't speak. My tongue had turned to concrete. I held the phone out toward her, like presenting a loaded gun. Her eyes adjusted, and the color drained from her face in a single heartbeat. "Alex, it's not, don't." Her voice cracked like ice. I stood on the cold hardwood, bare feet gripping the floor, and walked to the closet, pulled on yesterday's jeans, a hoodie that still smelled faintly of spilled coffee. Every movement deliberate, mechanical, pause, and I'd shatter. "Alex, please, let me explain." She scrambled after me, clutching the sheet to her chest. It was stupid, meaningless. I was lonely. The word tasted like rust. "I work 60-hour weeks, so you can take pottery classes and brunch with friends. I come home, cook the salmon, medium rare, your favorite. Ask about your day, and you're lonely. Tears streaking mascara into war paint. You're always tired. Falling asleep during movies. Crying at commercials for God's sake. I needed someone who doesn't feel." I laughed, a sound sharp enough to cut glass. "That's what you told me last month. Too emotional, Alex. Everything's a crisis with you. Remember?" She opened her mouth, closed it. Silence stretched, thick and accusing. I grabbed my keys. "Congratulations. You wanted less emotion. You've got it." I left her in the doorway, the sheet trailing like a surrender flag. The drive went nowhere, the sky bruising purple with dawn. I parked on the pier where we got engaged 8 years ago. Same bench, the same gulls screaming overhead. I opened the glove compartment, pulled out the little velvet box I'd hidden for weeks. Inside, the vintage locket engraved with our intertwined initials, planned for our anniversary. 3 days away, I hurled into the dark water and watched the splash vanish. Back home, the apartment felt radioactive. Her suitcase lay on the bed, clothes half-packed in frantic piles. She looked up, eyes puffy, lips trembling. "I'll go to my sister's. Give you space." "No," I said, setting my keys on the counter with a click that sounded final. "You stay. I'll go." She reached for me. "Alex." I stepped back. Distance felt galactic. "You wanted silence. Here it is." I moved into the guest room, locked the door. She knocked until her knuckles bruised, whispering apologies through the wood. I pressed headphones over my ears, cranked the loudest playlist I had, guitar screaming, drums like gunfire, until the battery died and all that remained was a pulse in my veins. Days bled into weeks. We became polite ghosts. Post-its on the fridge, milk slow. I responded with 2 gallons stacked like bricks. She cooked lasagna, my favorite, set a plate outside my door. I ate at the sink, washed the dish, and put it back silently. A contact became accidental, painful, quickly avoided. One evening, I came home to find her on the couch, knees to chest, staring at an ultrasound photo. The tiny curve of a lima bean, a fluttering heartbeat. She looked up, eyes shimmering. "It's yours." I'm 9 weeks. The air left my lungs. Calendars don't lie. Biology doesn't lie. The math traced conception back to the night of our last fight, a desperation that felt like love, or maybe just fear. I sank onto the opposite couch. Silence weighed heavily, a third presence in the room. She waited, breath held. I studied the photo, until its edges curled. Finally, I need to know everything. No filtering. Can you do that? She nodded, tears slipping. For 2 hours, she spoke. Mark, a graphic designer from her pottery class. Compliments on her glazes, coffee. Then a hotel in the city where the sheets smelled of bleach and regret. The thrill of being seen, guilt tasting like copper, the line crossed she could never uncross. She cried, admitting she'd almost left me the week before I found the texts. I listened, letting every detail cut, like a scalpel. When she finished, the room felt scoured clean. "What do you want?" she whispered. I looked at the ultrasound. Tiny heartbeat, a question mark. "I don't know," I admitted, "but I can't decide tonight." She started to reply. I raised a hand, exhausted. Silence. "Remember? You asked for it. I'll give it to you permanently, if that's what it takes to think." I walked to the guest room and closed the door. This time, she didn't knock. Months passed in that locked room limbo. I attended every OB appointment alone, sitting in waiting rooms with other expectant fathers joking about crib assemblies. At home, I left envelopes on the counter, fetal development printouts, vitamin lists, sonogram photos annotated with measurements. She responded with handwritten notes slid under my door, kicking at 2 a.m., craving pickles and ice cream. Cliché but true, communication via paper and distance. One night, thunder rattled windows. Power flickered. I found her in the unfinished nursery, on the floor among unassembled crib parts, sobbing into a half-folded onesie. I knelt, began fitting slats together. She watched, hiccuping. 10 minutes later, the crib stood sturdy. I picked up the onesie, yellow with smiling giraffes. Held it out. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Me too. I probably don't deserve this." "Maybe not," I admitted, meeting her eyes. "But this baby does." She searched my face. "Does that mean—" "It means I'm staying. Until I know what staying means. One day at a time. No promises. No lies. You right? I listen. I need space. I take it. We learn a new language." She nodded, tears spilling onto the giraffes. I didn't forgive her that night. Forgiveness is a country I hadn't reached. But I moved back into our bedroom. We slept back to back, a canyon of sheets between us. Some mornings, her hand rested on my pillow, fingers curled, reaching. I never moved away. The baby arrived on a Tuesday in April, screaming like the world had personally offended her. I cut the cord with steady hands. When the nurse placed her on my chest, tiny fists clamped around my thumb. I looked across at my wife, exhausted, radiant, terrified. A tectonic shift inside me. Later, in the quiet recovery room, she whispered, "I'm sorry, Alex," every day for the rest of my life. I studied the curve of our daughter's ear, spending each day proving it, not with words, but presence. Silence when I needed it, sound when she did. She pressed her forehead to my shoulder. I led her. Outside, spring rain tapped the window like tentative fingers. Inside, 3 heartbeats found a cautious rhythm. Betrayal still lived in the walls, a ghost. But ghosts can coexist with new life if the house is strong enough. I kissed the top of our daughter's downy head. For the first time in nearly a year, I spoke directly to my wife. Her name is Hope. Tears soaked my gown, but she smiled. "Hope," she whispered, tasting the word, tasting forgiveness she hadn't earned yet. "Some silences break you," I said. "Others teach you to listen." Ours became the space where a family learned to breathe again, one careful inhale at a time.